With your campaign topic, you were also assigned one of these two models, the health belief model or the theory of planned behavior. You were also assigned constructs within these models that you need to address with your campaign. So this presentation will briefly go through these two models. Okay, let's start with the health belief model. This model proposes that we base our behavior choices on 5 primary considerations. That is our perceived susceptibility, our perceived seriousness or severity, perceived barriers, the perceived benefits, and then cues to action. So for example, let's consider our decision to drink and then drive by applying the health belief model. Imagine that you are targeting young men and you want them to not drive when drinking. First of all, does the audience feel susceptible to getting into a crash or getting pulled over? Or do they somehow feel that nothing bad will happen? If that's the case, maybe we aim at increasing their feeling of susceptibility when they drink and then drive. Can our campaign make them realize that they're susceptible? The next one then is, does our audience feel that the consequences are serious and severe? Are they aware that they will get in trouble if they get pulled over and they've been driving while drinking? And do they realize how serious that trouble will be? The ticket will be quite severe and they may even go to jail. Are they aware that they could cause injury to themselves and others, or do they not really feel that that's a real thing that'll happen? Can our campaign aim to increase the amount of seriousness or severity they feel belongs attached to this? And then we look at the barriers. What are the barriers to not drink and drive? Well, we're asking these young men to maybe spend money on an Uber and leave their car behind if they've been drinking, or maybe they just need to find another way home, and this is kind of a pain for them to do. Maybe they need to learn a new skill of leaving the car at home to begin with and heading out for an evening of drinking without the car even accessible. Can we reduce these barriers with our campaign? So for example, can we create a reward system with our local Uber drivers where somehow these potential drunk drivers are rewarded for using Uber instead of driving their vehicle? The next construct then is the perceived benefits. And so if we don't drive after we drink, does the audience feel that this is more beneficial than driving? So can our campaign aim to boost these benefits? Can we show the benefit of waking up the morning after drinking, feeling smug because you did the right thing? Or can we create other tools that make the benefits even more enticing for the new behavior? And then the final construct is cues to action. How does the target audience even remember to do the new behavior that they think that they want to do? So they want to not drive after they've been drinking, but can we help them remember that they decided to do this new behavior? Can we pre-game decisions? For example, calling Uber from the very beginning of a night, or having a designated driver at the beginning of the night. By the way, breathalyzer steering wheel lock devices that are placed on people's steering wheels when they've gotten into trouble for drinking and driving, these are actually a law-enforced cue to action. It is actually something that we could consider using something like that for a campaign for drinking and driving. Maybe there's an app that needs to be developed that is a cue to action where a person can estimate what their blood alcohol might be and whether or not they should drive or not. So let's apply these constructs to another health example, and that is getting the flu shot. So in order for somebody to get a flu shot, they first have to perceive that they are susceptible to getting the flu without being vaccinated. And so they have to feel that they're susceptible to this issue. And so the flu shot helps them to not get the flu. Then they have to perceive that not getting the flu shot can put themselves in serious risk of getting sick. And so they have to understand the potential serious consequences of getting the flu. And it might not be their own health that's in danger, but we might actually point out that they're putting vulnerable people that they love in danger, like their elderly grandparents or their young niece that is not old enough to get the flu shot. They also have to know how to get past their perceived barriers. And so they need to know where they can get the shot. It should be an easy way to get the shot. It should be free or covered by insurance. It should be quick and relatively painless if we can make it that way. They also have to perceive that there's benefits to getting the flu shot. And so our campaign might emphasize that getting the flu shot contributes to herd immunity. And if you don't get sick, you don't have to take the time off of work and school. And then they also probably need some cues to action to remind them how to get this done and where to get this done. And so our campaign might make it crystal clear. Flu shots are available at the campus health center. No appointment necessary. So here's some examples. The first picture is aimed at reducing one particular barrier, and that is the thinking that it is too late in the season to get a flu shot. It then focuses on the cue to action, which is designating a National Influenza Vaccination Week along with a website to visit. The NHS infographic, on the other hand, is attempting to address other constructs. It's giving the benefits of getting the vaccine. You protect yourself and also your family and friends. It addresses a barrier, that is the dislike of needles, so it educates on the use of a nasal spray instead. Then it shifts to the construct of perceived seriousness, emphasizing that it's better to just get the nasal spray instead of getting the flu, which will lead to lost opportunities due to having to stay home sick. So remember, you will have to write 3 SMART goals, and you should have the model in mind as well as the constructs. And so here is an example of the health belief model being used for a campaign aimed at reducing the problem of skin cancer. And the way that this campaign is doing that is to promote the use of sunscreen. The campaign aims to increase the perceived susceptibility of adverse outcomes from skin cancer, and it also aims to increase the perceived benefits of using sunscreen. And so you can see here are the SMART goals that were created with these in mind. While the health belief model focuses mainly on an individual's beliefs and attitudes, the theory of planned behavior adds a social component to explain behaviors. Under the theory of planned behavior, a person's attitude is shaped by what others are doing and thinking, and this combines with the person's perception of their own ability, otherwise known as self-efficacy, which then predicts behaviors. So the key constructs are the attitude, the personal attitude towards the behavior, the subjective norms, their self-efficacy, that is whether they can do it or not, what they believe, and then their intention, their behavioral intention. So for example, a campaign using the theory of planned behavior constructs to promote flu shots might have these kind of messaging. Messaging to influence the audience's attitude to getting the flu is similar to the health belief model, but then messaging that portrays the social norms is where the theory of planned behavior differs. The theory of planned behavior then also focuses on the how, the perceived control of getting this done, the person's self-efficacy. An example of the theory of planned behavior in use for organ donation campaigns. On the side, you see 2 different campaign materials. One of them is the bigger sign. It says, "This side gets it," and a check mark over organ donor. This side doesn't, and it's not checked for organ donor. And then it carries on. There's a bus where they've got signs on the back of each seat, and they're actually kind of humorous. One of them said, "This side calls their moms," and it's checked, and it says, "This side disappoints them," and it's unchecked. And so it's playing on the idea that all you have to do is check the box to become an organ donor, but it's also playing on that construct of subjective norms. It's making it look or pointing out the fact that many people have checked that box to become an organ donor. And this is subjectively something that is normal in our society. And then the other campaign material on the left side says it only takes 30 seconds to save a life. Take 30 seconds and register to be an organ donor today. This is that self-efficacy aspect. Can I register? Yes, you can, and here is how to do it exactly. And just an example of SMART goals that are written with theory of planned behavior in mind. This is for a campaign designed to increase exercise frequency in order to reduce health complications. And it's playing on the construct of self-efficacy. That is, does the audience feel that they can increase their exercise? And also reinforcing attitudes that it's important to exercise. So the behavior SMART goal is actually measuring how many of the individuals that have seen the campaign report increasing their frequency of exercise. That is their behavior. The self-efficacy construct is measuring the amount of people who've seen the campaign that report as having increased confidence with exercising. And then the attitude is the reporting of understanding the benefits of frequent exercise.